Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got a very exciting Omega level commander for you. And again, a reminder, an Omega level commander is one that is a massive threat and incredibly powerful. And yeah, I think the Lord of the Nazgul meets that requirement. A 4/3 Wraith Noble with flying that costs 3 blue and a black. Wraiths you control protect from ring bearers, so that's nice. But more importantly, whenever you cast an sorcery spell, you get a 3/3 Black Wraith creature token with Menace. Then if you control 9 or more Wraiths you control have base power and toughness 9/9 until end of turn. So, yeah, basically, spell slinger giant creatures, well, medium-sized creatures to start, but then become absolutely massive giant creatures, including, of course, your commander, which, of course, is a Wraith. So, yeah, spell slinger, incredible value, giant army, fun times. Yeah, this is quite powerful. This is quite potent. There's some crazy things that you can do with it. And, yeah, it's quite the cool commander. So, on this episode, of course, well, it's going to be a very budget-friendly commander deck. Even though the commander itself is like $8, the total, according to Moxfield, is $29.71 because every single card in this deck outside the commander is less than $1. So, again, very budget-friendly. That being said, that estimated cost does not include the cost of basic lands, which you might already have, or you can borrow from your friends, or, you know, get your LGS potentially, or buy in bulk, I guess, too. And then also it does include the cost of shipping, which might vary depending upon where you live, but again, still very budget friendly. And of course, if you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. And yeah, let's jump into the tactics. And first up, of course, there's Wayfarer's Bauble. Fantastic land ramp for any deck, even Dimir. There you go. Pay 2, tap, sacrifice, go get a basic land into play, tapped. Next up, a very flexible mana rock, ever-flowing chalice, which I cannot believe it is this cheap. Now just 21 cents. Absolutely love that. Multi-kicker 2. Enters battlefield that number of charge counters on it. Essentially tap for that many charge counters. So basically, get half the amount of mana back that you put into it. Again, our commander is about medium when it comes to actual cost. Again, 5. Yeah, it's a decent amount of mana. So ramp quickly, ramp efficiently when you need to, or just dump a bunch of mana into something like this to get things going. Next up, Arcane Signet. A pretty good card, a very good card, an absurdly good card. 2 taps for either of our colors, so incredibly efficient, incredibly effective. Next up, Dimir's Signet, another great one. Pay into it, taps for our guild's colors as well. Felwar Stone, again, these 2 mana rocks are crazy good. Great at efficiency. Tap for 1 of any color that the land opponent controls could produce. So basically, in most circumstances, it's going to tap for our colors. If it doesn't, that's fine. Also, Mind Stone. Taps for a colorless. Again, we've got other ways to fix our mana. We're only in 2 colors. It's fine. Pay 1, tap, sacrifice, draw a card. So we can replace it if we need to. Next up, Talisman of Dominance. Finally, more budget-friendly. Just 50 cents right now. Taps for our colors or taps for our colors. It's going to deal 1 damage to us, which is fine. Again, we start at 40 life. That's no big deal at all. Next up, Midnight Clock. This one's not very efficient at all. It's 3 mana for a single mana rock that taps for a single blue mana. That being said, this can give us a ton of card advantage. But you can pay to put an hour counter on it. Also, you get them for free on the beginning of each upkeep, not just your own. When that 12th hour counter hits, well, you are going to essentially Time Twister. You get to shuffle your hand, your graveyard, in your library, draw 7. A great way to reset things when you need to. Next up, Skyclave Relic. This one is a very flexible mana rock as well. It can cost 3 and tap for any 1 mana of any color. That's fine, all right? That's not all that efficient again, but also you can kick it, and if you do, you get 2 token copies that enter the battlefield tapped of it. Also, these are all indestructible, so they are very protected ramp source. And then we've also got Warden Power Stone at 3 mana as well. Very efficient, very effective. ETB's tapped, so you can't utilize it right away, but it does tap for 2. So again, a great way to boost us to get us to our commander. But now let's move on to tactic number 2. Less is more, and it most definitely is with Baral, Chief of Compliance, which I cannot believe is budget-friendly right now. A 1/3 Human Wizard for just 2 mana. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost once to cast. That is massive. That is huge. We have a ton of instant sorceries in this stack, and that kind of cost reduction, again, yes, ramp can be great. Ramp is fantastic. But cost reduction can help you just do crazy things in a single turn. Again, reduce the cost of all your spells. That is huge, especially for some spells that we're going to talk about here coming up. On top of that, hey, whenever a spell ability you control counters a spell, draw a card, discard. So a nice looting effect too for our counter spells as well. What's not to like about that? Next up, Helm of Awakening. Now, this one will help our opponents as well, so keep that in mind. That being said, again, with the amount of spells we're going to be casting, we're going to get the most benefit out of this. An artifact for just 2 mana, spells cost 1 less to cast. So every single spell. Again, not just arts and sorceries, but every single spell, including those mana rocks, including Baral. Hey, let's cast them for even less. Next up, Nightscape Familiar also costs that for less too. A 1/1 zombie for 2 mana. Blue spells and red spells you cast cost once to cast. Now we don't have any red spells. That's okay. A lot of spells in this deck. The vast majority of the spells in this deck are blue. I think around like 70 or 75% or so. So yeah, get a great cost reduction for that, including for our commander as well. Also, we can pay to regenerate this, so this can be protected as well. Protected cost reduction can be huge. Next up, Mind Splice Apparatus. This one has the potential to reduce the cost of everything. All of our arts and sorceries by, well, everything. An artifact for 3 mana and a blue. Flash. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get an oil counter on it. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost once cast for each of those old counters. So you can flash this in surprisingly, reduce the cost of your spells next turn by 1. Again, every single turn that stays in play, the more and more this reduces. And yeah, again, basically making all of our spells into just, well, no generic mana, just all pips that we can cast. Then we've got Wizards of Thay, a 3/3 human wizard with Myriad. So when it attacks, we get a copy of it attacking the other 2 players. For a 3 and a blue, in source spells you cast goes to cast, and then you may cast source spells as though they had flash. Both are huge. Again, potential cost reduction of up to 3, which is huge. And on top of that, again, flash speed, sorcery spells. What's not to love about that? And then, well, finally, we've got a crazy card in this deck. Again, kind of like our Helm, but you know what? We're going to reduce the cost of everyone's instant sorceries by 2. Again, we're going to get the most benefit out of this because we are going to be spell slinging left and right. We've got a ton of things that we're going to be casting, even recasting, and making that generic mana cost, well, go all the way down to 0 can be absolutely huge for this. So yeah, for a 5 mana enchantment that even helps out our opponents, sure, that's fine. We're going to be getting the most value out of this. But next up, let's move on to tactic number 3, do that again. And yeah, we've got some spells that can be recast, and some actually for free, like Distortion Strike. A sorcery for a single blue mana. Target creature gets +1/+0 until I'm turn and can't be blocked this turn. Making a creature unblockable can be huge, especially our commander again. Can make it basically a 10 power unblockable commander. It's a lot of commander damage, and it's rebound. So basically, once you cast it, it exiles, and then you can recast it for free beginning of your next upkeep. This is a 1 mana. Well, sure, all the things it does, right? The +1/+0, you know, unblockable, cool, nice. More importantly, hey, 1 mana, make 2 3/3s with our commander. That could be huge. And again, or potentially 2 ways to pump back up to 9/9s if we've got enough wraiths in play. And also, we've got other ways to benefit from casting instants. So we'll talk about this here in a bit, instant sorceries. But next up, let's go to Virulent Swipe. An instant for a single black mana. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains Death Touch left turn and rebound. So again, a way to potentially make our commander into a 2-shot KO. Death Touch can also be a great thing with Menace because, well, your opponents might not want to block something that has Menace because they have to block with 2 creatures. If they do dedicate 2 creatures to actually block it, though, then we can take both those creatures out. Again, Death Touch makes it so we can take out any creatures. Basically, is 1 point of damage, so have fun with that. Again, a 1 mana spell that rebounds. 1 mana for 2 3/3s. What's not to love about that? Next up, Whispers of the Muse. This one is massive with cost reducers because, yes, cost reducers also apply to buyback. It's a single mana instant speed spell. Draw a card. On top of that, buyback 5. So if you can pay an additional 5 when you cast it, you put it in your hand as it resolves. So again, those cost reducers, if we've got, say, reduce cost 5, which, yes, we need a decent amount of those in play, but we can get there. Hey, a single blue mana, draw a card, get this back in our hand, cast it again, cast it again, cast it again, draw a card, oh, and make a 3/3. Yeah, that can be a ton of value. Even if it's just a couple of mana, you can spare that right to play into it. So have fun with that. Next up, Imp's Taunt, yet another buyback spell, one that helps out in a different way. Instant for 1 and a black, buyback for 3. Target creature attacks this turn of Fable. It's going to be a good removal spell in a way by forcing a creature opponent controls to attack. And we keep getting this back again and again and again, sending a creature into a situation that they don't want to be in. Maybe it's a very important key piece to them like their commander. So take that out. And also, again, keep recasting this, keep getting more and more wraiths in play. Moving on, Mass Diminish helps out in a different way. Actually, good in combination with the Imp. Sorcery for 1 and a blue. Until your next turn, creatures target player controls have base power times 1/1, and we can flash it back. So again, a spell we can cast twice. So getting twice the value, twice the juicy value out of this card. And hey, turn all those creatures into tiny creatures, which is going to be incredibly difficult for them to dedicate blockers to now our 3/3s with Menace, or even 9/9s with Menace. And on top of that, hey, yeah, you're not going to be swinging us anytime soon with this. A great card. Next up, Radical Idea. A different way to get basically kind of like a flashback type effect is going to be Jumpstart with this one. Instant for 1 and a blue, draw a card, Jumpstart. So basically discard a card, pay its cost, recast from your graveyard again. Basically, hey, draw 2 cards, make 2 3/3s for just 4 mana and discarding a card. Yeah, sign me up for that, please. Next up, Flashback another spell, Scour Possibilities. Again, a lot of low to the ground spells that can be very, very impactful. Scry 2, draw a card, flashback for 4 and a blue. Card selection, paired with card advantage. What's not to love? Then we've got Siphon Insight. Our opponents can help us out as well with something like this. Instant for 2 mana. The top 2 cards target opponent's library. Basically exile one face down. You can play that, basically using any colors essentially. Have fun with that. Also flash this back as well for just 3 mana in total. Again, a cost reducer can help a little bit with that too. Then we've got Think Twice. Very similar to Radical Idea. Draw a card, flashback for 2 and a single blue mana. Again, we've got so many cost reducers in this deck though that, well, if you got one in play, that can reduce this down to just even 1 or 2 mana. So yeah, have fun with that. Drawing cards, making even more tokens. Then Chemist's Insight, draw even more cards with another Jumpstart card. Draw 2 for 4. Or again, cost reduction can help with that as well. And then also Jumpstart it, so do the exact same thing again, just by discarding a card. How about Consuming Vapors, though? Yet another great rebound effect. Another free cast for us. 4 mana. This is worth it just for itself. Target player sacrifices a creature. Gain life for that creature's toughness. Forcing an opponent to sacrifice a creature. If they don't have many creatures in play, they're going to have to get rid of a pretty big one probably. And we can gain a lot of life with this. And then rebound. Cast again for free. So basically, kind of like this split into 2. You know what I mean? You pay all 4 at once. But basically, if you're saying like, oh, I paid 2 to get rid of one creature, 2 to get rid of another creature, gain some life, make some 3/3s. Yeah, that's going to be quite potent. I got Deep Analysis, a very, very, very good draw spell. 4 mana to draw 2. That's not great, but we can flash it back for just 2 mana and 3 life. 3 mana, 3 life. 3 life is no big deal at all in Commander. Again, we start off at 40. And yeah, we can really easily cast this just for a single mana back out of our graveyard with cost reduction. Or we can cast a spell for free, like, Dread Return. Return target creature card from graveyard to the battlefield, sacrifice 3 creatures to flash it back. So we can get back one of our key pieces potentially out of our graveyard right back into play. And yeah, sure, we're going to have some creature tokens in play we can sacrifice. Maybe those are our wraiths. We've also got other ways to make creature tokens as well. Sacrifice those, recast this, get one back from our command or get something back out of our graveyard. A lot of value to be had there. Next up, let's move on to tactic number 4, and again, there are a lot of valuable things that you can do with this commander, including casting the same spell again, and again, and again, like Call to Mind. Sorcery for 2 and a blue, return target instant sorcery card from graveyard to your hand. This, in combination with other cards in this, can be crazy good because, hey, if we can get back another spell, even if we're just getting back another spell, right? That's a lot of value. Again, we've got cost reducers to reduce this down to even just 1 mana. Cast that, get a Wraith. Cool, awesome. Get those triggers, and also get that other spell back. It's going to be a lot of value for you. But also, again, and when it comes to be paired with, something like, I don't know, Deja Vu, you can do this again and again and again. Sorcery for 2 and a blue. Turn any sorcery from graveyard to your hand. So kind of like a slightly worse Call to Mind, but again, in combination, those two are just, hey, okay, I cast this, I get something back. Cool. Okay, I cast this, I get that other one back. Okay, I cast this one, I get the other one back. You just keep kind of cycling through them again. If you get the cost reduction in play, basically says, hey, pay a blue mana, get whatever triggers from casting that spell, including your commanders, make a 3/3. So at a certain point, just pay a blue mana, make a 3/3. Pay a blue mana, make a 3/3. This can be absolutely absurd. Of course, can get you to that 9 Wraiths very, very quickly. Other good ones are like Deliver Unto Evil, Sorcery for 3 mana. Just up to 4 cards in your graveyard. Something of Bolus Planeswalker. We don't have a Bolus Planeswalker in here. That's okay, though. An opponent chooses 2 of them. You leave the chosen cards in your graveyard. You get the rest in your hand. Basically, get 2 cards out of your graveyard for just 3 mana. Lovely. This one does exile, unfortunately. That's okay. Again, hey, get a Wraith and also get 2 cards back. Lovely. Next up, Relearn. This one is kind of like basically Call to Mind. It does cost an extra blue mana, though, but it does still do basically the exact same thing. And I shouldn't say an extra blue mana, but the cost reduction would be an extra blue, but you know what I mean. And then we also have Said and Done. Return target instant source card from graveyard to your hand, again, for just 3 mana. Again, basically an extra Call to Mind right there. And it's flexible. Done is tap to target creatures with creatures done tap to next controls X on tap step. You can do that if you need to, but more likely you're going to be utilizing that Said again and again and again. But let's move on to tactic number 5, Drawn to Power, because yeah, we've got a lot of ways to generate card advantage, but of course we have even more and a lot of very powerful, very cheap, very effective ways like, Brainstorm. Draw 3 cards, put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order, instant for a single blue mana. Instant speed, make a 3/3 out of nowhere. That's fantastic. Get some card advantage as well. And of course, if you've got, say, like an Evolving Wilds or something that can crack and, actually make your shuffle your library, great. Get rid of the top cards off your library. And then, yeah, just get some other ones. Cool. Consider next up, speaking of getting rid of cards off the top of your library, look at the top card of your library, put the card in your graveyard, draw a card. So if you want to get rid of it, get rid of it. Basically, surveil 1, essentially, draw a card. What's not to love about that? Opt, the other end of this, essentially, scry 1, then draw a card. So again, card selection, pair with card advantage. Also, a single blue mana cantrip spell that gets you a 3/3. Lovely. Next up, Preordained. You're going to be seeing a lot of these. This one's sorcery speed, though. Scry 2, draw a card. Again, the amount of value that you can get out of something simple like this is crazy. Serum Visions, draw a card, scry 2. The card selection is after the card advantage. That's okay, though. That's fine. We can still utilize it in other ways. It's a fantastic card for this kind of a deck. Sign of Blood, 2 mana, draw 2, lose 2. Or, yeah, it can actually be a finisher in a weird way. If an opponent's just at 2 or 1 life, cool, take them out. More likely, you're going to be drawing those cards. You're going to be making a creature token with this. Frantic Search. You want it for free? Cool, you got it for free. Maybe even actually netting mana, potentially, if you've got a land that can tap for 2. Draw 2, discard 2, untap 3 lands. Yeah, great card selection. I mean, it is kind of like it's card selection technically with looting, but yeah, basically, get rid of 2 dead cards in your hand, draw 2 cards that you need potentially, untap those lands, do this for free, make a creature token for free, out of nowhere, instant speed. At 3 mana, we also have Read the Bones. Scry 2, draw 2, lose 2. Again, 2 life is absolutely nothing in Commander. Set yourself up for the cards that you need, make that token. And again, with these cost reducers, you can do even more. Again, I should have mentioned the Frantic Search, but yeah, these cost reducers, even more value out of cards like these, especially with a card like Distant Melody. This one is huge for this kind of attack. Choose a creature type, draw a card for each permanent you control of that type. Wraith, cool. Draw like 10 cards probably for just 4 mana, maybe even less mana. Absolutely crazy. And then finally, Treasure Cruise. Yeah. You're never going to pay 8 mana for this. It's got Delve. You're probably going to pay just a single blue mana, draw 3 cards. Basically, Ancestral Recall, hey, with a creature token as well. Have fun with that. But let's move on to tactic number 6, Bound to the Crown, because, yeah, your opponents might not like your Lord, and they might be trying to take it out. We can protect it with something like Negate, a fantastic card in this deck. Very simple counter spell. Counter target non-creature spell for 2 mana. And again, hey, also trigger your commander. Get a 3/3. What's not to love about that? Then we've got Swiftfoot Boots, a great piece of equipment to attach to our commander, of course. Hexproof and haste. This can be huge. Again, our commander can definitely be a commander that takes players out with commander damage. Cool. Swing through right away with that. Again, if you have cast some spells, make it into a 9/9. Cool. Also, for hexproof is probably more important, though. Yeah, protect your commander with that. Then we've got Unwind. Hey, you know, I talked about, cost reduction being really good for untapping things. Great. Unwind is great with that. Card target non-creature spell, untap to 3 lands. Again, you can basically net mana. You can gain mana with something like this. And of course, Rewind. This will counter any spell, untap 4 lands. Again, basically just a 2 mana spell for you in many circumstances once you have those cost reducers in play. Untap those lands, tap for even more. Have fun with that. Make even more rates for free. What's not to love? Now though, let's move on to tactic number 7, Away with You, because yeah, we've got, our own plan. We've got things that we're doing. We've got ways to protect our plan, but then we need ways to actually throw a wrench in our opponent's plans. We talked about a couple ways to do that, but even more so with a card like Capsize, an incredibly good buyback card. 1 blue, buyback 3, bounce target permanent back to its owner's hand. This is one that we can cast again and again and again. Again, with those cost reducers, that can help with buyback as well. Once we're set up properly, this can just be basically like a even 2 mana bounce spell that is repeatable for us, making even more tokens thanks to our commander and bouncing away our opponent's things, including potentially their lands. Yeah, it does say permanent. Next up, Niblis of Frost. 3/3 flying with prowess. So yeah, again, you can make this hit pretty hard. More importantly, though, whenever you cast instant sorcery spell, you tap down a creature opponent controls. It's not going to tap during the next untap step. You can tap down a lot of creatures with this. Keep creatures tapped down basically permanently with a spell in your deck like this, and just say, you know what? You're not going to beat me with those. Moving on, Aether Gale, an incredibly cool card. Return 6, target non-mana permanent back to its hands for just 5 mana. Bounce 6 things. Yeah, this can just be game ending for you. This can be a spell like your opponent's like, okay, I got enough blockers. I'm okay. I'll survive. All right, I'll survive. And then you're like, bounce those things. You don't have blockers. Cool. My menacing wraiths are now 9/9s as well. They're going to be hitting you for a ton. Goodbye. Next up, Consign. This is a removal spell that also can be cast a second time. A different side. Consign, bounce target non-mana permanent back to its hand. A great way to maybe even protect something we have, but also, yeah, get rid of something temporarily. Also, target player discards 2 cards with the Oblivion. You can recast from your graveyard thanks to that Aftermath. So again, 2 tokens out of this on top of all the things that it does. Then we've got Never, yet another great Aftermath card. Destroy target creature planeswalker. Cool, get rid of something for 3 mana. On top of that, return. Sure, exile card from graveyard, make a 2/2 zombie. Again, it doesn't really matter all that much what it does. The fact that you can recast it, sure, you like that 2/2, why not? But also, hey, more importantly, let's recast it. Let's get some more value. Sphinx Bone 1. This one is crazy. This one is crazy cool. 7 mana artifact. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, get a charge counter on this. If you do, it deals damage equal to the number of charge counters on it, target creature or player. This can take out creatures. This can take out players. Throughout the game, you're going to be casting spell after spell after spell, like I talked about. So many ways to cast a ton of spells, and you know what? Your opponents are going to be pretty gone with this, and also their creatures too. So, hey, great card. Next up, a good panic button, Decree of Pain. Draw creatures that can't be regenerated, draw a card for each creature stored this way, or cycle it away. And if we do, our creatures get -2/-2 until turn. Of course, our creatures can dodge that essentially, right? Our wraiths are 3/3s. Great, or even 9/9s, so they can dodge that and survive. But yeah, a good panic button in case things aren't going our way. Draw a ton of cards thanks to this. And then, of course, in Garrick's Wake, again, this might cost 9 mana, but again, we've got a lot of cost reducers, so we can cost it for even cheaper. Hey, destroy creatures you don't control, planeswalkers you don't control. A great way to say, you know what, you might have enough blockers to block my Wraith army that has, Menace. But no, you don't. They're all gone, so I'm going to swing through and take you out. And then we've got Commit, a great card as well. Another Aftermath card that we can utilize. Put target spell or non-land permanent owner's library second from the top. It's going to be a good way to potentially protect something that we have, get it back later, or yeah, get rid of something temporarily. And then Memory can actually get rid of it permanently, maybe even. Recast from the grave with that Aftermath, basically Time Twister. Everyone shuffles their graveyard and hand, and the library draws 7. A good way to reset things when we need to. And then finally, Rags to Riches. All creatures get -2/-2 until end turn. So again, a good board wipe to take out the small creatures. Keeps ours, fine. Again, our Wraiths are going to be fine, either being 3/3s or 9/9s. And then Riches. Each opponent chooses a creature they control, and then they give you them. They're so nice. They're so generous. Yeah, we'll take your creatures. Thank you. Thank you for that. But now let's move on to tactic number 8, Helping Hands, because we have even more ways to help, well, our creatures and ourselves. First up, we've got Levitation. Our creatures have flying. Very simple, very effective enchantment. One that says, you know what, maybe you had enough ground creatures to block my menacing creatures, but now they're flying, and now you definitely can't block them. I mean, you maybe can, but it's going to be really difficult for you too. You're not going to have enough blockers. We're going to be able to take you out. Yeah, this is a crazy good card, especially when your creatures already have another form of evasion. Stacking another one on top says, chances are pretty likely you're not going to be able to block my 3/3s, or more likely, my 9/9s. Next up, Murmuring Mystic. Let's add to our creature count, right? You know what? On top of those 3/3s we get from our commander, let's also get some 1/1s. Now, these are flyers as well. Again, great form of evasion. 1/1 birds whenever cast in sorcery. Absolutely love that. And speaking of that, hey, Soulblade Djinn, a great card for this deck. 4/3 flying Djinn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creature control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So not just instants under sorceries, but all of our non-creature spells. Let's pump our team even further again. Our base power and toughness is what's adjusted with our commander. Again, if we get that 9th Wraith into play and we get 9/9s, cool. On top of that, this extra level of pump, that can be massive. This can be a great way to finish our opponents off, not just with our army, but with our commander, and again, commander damage potentially. Now, as good as all these cards are, there's one, in my opinion, that stands above the rest, and that is a Golden Pig of this deck, which, of course, is the number 1 card of our 99. And the Golden Pig for this deck is Talrand Sky Summoner. Yeah, the OG Spell Slinger. Let's make tokens commander. A 2/2 Merfolk Wizard for 2 blue. Whenever you cast in sorcery spell, you make a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. This, in combination with our commander, is, hey, you cast a single instant or sorcery, and you've got 5 power across 2 bodies with menace and flying. Now, they both don't have those, but you know what I mean. Regardless, a ton of extra power, a ton of extra evasion, just an extra boost of just say, you know what, I was going at this speed, now I'm doubling that speed essentially and taking you out even quicker with my doubly sized army. So yeah, Talrand says, you know what, your commander is great, but I'm also going to help out in essentially a massive way as well. So that's why Talrand Sky Summoner is the Golden Pig of this deck. So yeah, I definitely think Lord of the Nazgul is an Omega level commander, definitely worthy of that distinction. A crazy good commander that says, you know what, let's just spell sling, let's have a good time, let's cast spells again and again and again, sometimes just even the same spell again and again and again, and make a massive army that I can make even more massive. And maybe we have some buddies that can help make even more creature tokens, do some crazy things. Yay, very potent commander. If you are interested in this one, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.